Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit ActiveDay.com to apply.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? We're back for another episode of Too Much Fantasy Football. Today we're doing a mock draft. We're sniping picks. We're talking strategy, and like I said, sniping picks. Probably this one over here. It's Brian. It's Brennen. How are we doing today, man?
Oh, I love feeling good and crushing a good old mock draft before you do your real drafts in August.
Absolutely. And what better way to do that than middle of June? That's like obviously the opportune time to be hitting the ADP streets.
Exactly.
No, folks, Sleeper's ADP is still yet to completely catch up. We're waiting for all the fans to get back and really hammer it through. So we're only going to do 10 rounds here, but really dive deep into these first 10 rounds, really kind of talk about that, see how this ADP is settling, which guys are going to be there, which aren't. But before we do that, we got some news. It's been a bit. There's been some things happening here. And look, folks, I've got two quick little defensive players. That's it. We're not ADP here, but I just want to bring it up. The Shamar Stewart situation there with the Bengals. Like, he's been at OTAs, but not participating. He's still waiting for that contract. Today, he just up and left. He just wasn't even a part of it. And you can't help but laugh, because what do we usually see the problem revolving around the Bengals as the franchise? It's money. It's money, folks. And it's already pissing off the first-round rookie.
Yeah, it's been a revolving thing with the Bengals. There wasn't really, I wouldn't say there was so much backlash for the Joe Burrow contract. Like, they kind of got that done, I feel like, pretty quickly after Herbert signed. The Jamar Chase one, they kind of screwed the pooch, because he really just wanted, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he just wanted to show up Justin Jefferson. He just wanted a little bit more than Justin. He was just like
$1. I bet he would have taken $1 more.
It was something like just petty, where he was just like, I want a little bit more. But that's just, who cares? It's like the same thing with Bakhtiari and the left tackle for the 49ers when this happened. He just wanted a little bit more when that signing went through. So we've had this. The T. Higgins contract situation is really interesting, because I think they broke down his contract. It's kind of similar towards Shamar, where it's like they basically just don't want to guarantee it if he gets injured, which is just like, dude, you need to treat your rookie right. Like, this is like you obviously you spent high draft capital on him. You think the world of him, because you need a defense. That was your first pick. There's other guys that went after him that people thought you probably should have taken, but you decided to go with this guy. He just basically went with the same contract that every other first round gets. Even now, second rounders are starting to get fully guaranteed money.
Yeah, Higgins for Houston got a fully guaranteed as a second round pick, first time ever.
So you can see that it's like this dude got picked, 15 whatever picks after me. You got a full guarantee. You can't even give me that. It's like. And then he, I think Shamar's handling it pretty well, because he's like, they're not even, paying Trey Hendrickson, who's batted back-to-back 17.5 sacks years.
Which this kind of could have been the leverage for that situation. If they get Stewart in there, a first-round pick, then they could have had that leverage to say, hey, Trey, come back at our price, or we don't really need you. Right now, they don't have either one of them. And they just cut Jermaine Pratt, a linebacker, because just the money wasn't quite. So it's just, like you said, a revolving door here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, if you ask Cincy fans, I don't think they're really too sad about Pratt being gone, but yeah, it's still
a defense that doesn't need to be losing players, if we're being honest.
Yes, I do agree. So yeah, this situation's really interesting, because they've already brought up trading him. That's been the talk in media.
It's crazy.
It's just dude, come on, get this handled. Just pay the guy.
Yeah, that'd be a sight to see. Only Cincinnati would pull off the preseason trade on their first round pick.
Yeah, no kidding.
So it's OTAs. We have a lot of coach speak that we're trying to decipher through, go through and just figure out what's actually worth listening to. But new head coach of the New York Jets, Glenn, has shut down the rumors of Breece Hall possibly being traded. I know that's kind of what everybody's watching, that Chicago backfield. Is this we just talked about those two recently, but is it going to be these two, or are they going to add somebody else? Really not much else that they could add outside of a trade here. So I mean, we're locked in at Brees. Are we excited yet?
Yeah, there's more to it with that as well. It's like Jets supposedly are going to feature all three backs, Hall, Allen, and Davis. That's also part of the coach talk. So, like, at the end of the day, though, if you really break down this team, like target-wise, I think you and I both agree that Garrett Wilson is going to just be the end-all, be-all for targets for this team. Second, I have it as Hall. I have Hall being number 2 in targets just because, like, he is still elite. I think he slowed down a little bit, but at the end of the day, like, who do they have? They have Malachi Corley, and then I'm drawing blanks on other names just because it's how bad this.
Alan Lazard's still there?
Is he? I think no. I think so. Maybe.
He hasn't been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers yet, but it's only a matter of time before he goes to join his boy.
Yeah. So no, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I still think Brees Hall is a decent value just because, like, if you are looking at your first RB, Brees Hall is a target of mine that'd be like, all right, I know that the volume's going to be there for this guy, and it doesn't scare me that he says that all 3 running backs are going to be involved.
Yeah, same. It's just how that offense is going to have to work with the lack of pass catchers they have. Kyle Pitts, yes, that Kyle Pitts, the one I talked about all last summer. He's in trade conversations. Evidently, he's been sitting out because of an injury. That's also usually code for he's about to be traded. So who knows where that is truly going to go. But yeah, I'm grabbing a decent amount of Kyle Pitts right now in best ball purely because on the off chance he gets traded and goes somewhere that's a little bit more enticing, I could see his ADP moving up. So I feel like this might be one of the cheaper options for us to get him this year. I don't really see him dropping much more in ADP, but outside of that, I don't know. It's a lot of talk, a lot of speculation.
Yeah, when you and I were doing our rankings, our tight end rankings are basically the same. It's really hard to like kind of tinker with it a little bit. We have him at tight end 15. If he does move somewhere, and it's like obviously your bread and butter spot's the Chargers. Like Chargers. you are pounding the table. I think that moves him up to like 12.
I'd put him 11. At 7.
Yeah, see, like I don't know if I go that high with him.
But the difference between my 7 and 12 really isn't a whole hell of a lot here. So I'm just saying that more for the clicks there, folks.
Yeah, exactly. So like I just think that it's just he seems to be having some issues. So I'm going to wait and see what happens in August at camp and then kind of get my perspective where I'll be with him. I'm taking him late, though, in best ball, though. I have taken him a few times with the Michael Penix stack.
Cornerback for the Green Bay Packers, Jair Alexander, is no longer a cornerback for the Green Bay Packers. He has been cut. They released him. I still can't believe they didn't find a trade partner. I know his cap hits pretty high. Like he was making quite a bit of money, but the Tyreek Hill trade, we did not get to see that happen. My pre-NFL draft prediction of him and Tyreek swapping. He's been out there for, I guess, a couple days now. It'll be interesting to see who and where he gets picked up at. Maybe the Colts.
Yeah, I doubt that. $17 million in a dead cap hit. They're eating it this year. I guess the Bills were a primary target for him in the trades, but they kind of fell through. Obviously, in 34 games, he's only played 14 was the stat, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, I mean, the best ability is availability, and he's really not that. But when he is on the field, he's a lockdown corner. So, like, I think a playoff team should take that, like a Ravens. I think the Ravens would be.
Oh, God. So would they not be the team to walk away with him?
Yeah, honestly, like it makes sense too. But I could see him being like, the Vikings. The Vikings desperately need a cornerback too. So, like, I don't know what their cap situation is, but like,
him going to the rival like that,
exactly, playing twice a year, like. Because Jair Alexander, I don't know if folks, like, he has my favorite GIF of all time back at Louisville. It's when he like stopped a wide receiver and he does like the bird dance and like struts over him. If you have a chance, just type in Jair Alexander Louisville GIF and it's the greatest thing you'll ever see in this world.
That's awesome. Brian Thomas Jr. went down, left practice a couple of days ago. All reports are he's fine, just a bruised shoulder. Wipe the brow, folks. We're good. We made it through another day.
Everyone panics when they hear during camp players down. It's just like you're just like crap. Please just don't be long-term injury ACL. Just wait it out. Give it a couple hours and then get your news. Because like obviously Michael Pittman went down. He banged knees with the player, but he's perfectly fine. So Brian Thomas Jr. has not moved in my rankings at all from this. So
if anything, he's just going up higher.
Yeah.
We got a handful of signings here. The retirement home opened up its doors. We picked up some folks. Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. $10 million deal. I think it goes up to like 19. I mean, we knew this was going to be a lower money. The Steelers don't have a whole lot of money to mess around with. It's a 1 year deal, obviously. Like nobody wants to tie their the trailer to Rodgers for more than that 1 year. But like, I'm excited. This is a 9-10 win team typically. The offense will be decent enough, but does DK Metcalf really line up with what Aaron Rodgers like? DK Metcalf's a deep guy. He's not that possession receiver that we see Rodgers work so well with. So, like, are we going to see Pat Freiermuth get a lot more work in this offense? Is it going to be Calvin Austin? Do they go get Keenan Allen? You know, what's your outlook here on the situation?
I mean, like, I was under the assumption that he might not even sign at all. I was just like, he might just retire. Like, I was on that card. I was thinking that. So for him to, like, when he finally signed, obviously he just didn't want to do like the mandatory mini camps and all that other stuff because he's over 40. He doesn't really care for that stuff. Like, he's just ready to play. So I think from not mistaken, they drew the line of like the tree. Like, obviously LaFleur was with Titans, Arthur Smith was underneath them. So the playbook is similar. I don't think there's going to be any like, him studying more than he needs to. But like you said, like obviously like DK's just been what he's been this entire year. He's a deep threat guy, big bodied receiver. I mean, Aaron has supplemented those guys before. Like, if I'm not mistaken, who do I think of? He's a reporter, James Jones.
Yeah.
Remember that year we had like 16 touchdowns? Like
the sweatshirt under the pads, man, dude, it was dirty.
Yeah, it's so funny. I have a buddy of mine who's a Packers fan. He hated James Jones as a wide receiver for what odd reason. And I was like, he scores another touchdown though. You got to be his number one fan that day. He had like 4 touchdowns that game or something crazy like that. So that's whenever I think of James Jones. But no, I think DK's gonna be fine. I mean, like, I don't mind. I really want him as my wide receiver too.
Yeah,
I feel better about that. Not my wide receiver 1. So I think, I don't know, like we saw what we did with the Jets last year. Obviously, different scenarios. It's just, I don't think anything's going to be this drastic difference of like DK's going to get this 150 targets. He's going to be Devontae Adams in those prime years. I just expect to be kind of similar to what it was last year.
Yeah, I see DK closer to 100 targets than 150, I believe. I don't know where the rest of his targets are going to go, but it just...
Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, hopefully.
If he can get out there in
Warren, Caleb Johnson, hopefully.
The check down rate's going to be outrageous, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so for Caleb's sake.
We got a running back signing here. J.K. Dobbins not only had dinner in Denver, but he got a contract there. 1 year, $5.25 million. I mean, he's added to the team. If anything, I feel like this really just hurts Estime, just taking away, because I guess RJ Harvey, I'm not really looking at him any differently. He wasn't ever going to be a guy that's going to get 300 plus touches, especially this rookie year. They're going to mix it up. So I'm still okay drafting him where he's going. I'm not too afraid. He's going to get the receptions too. He may not get the touchdown work. J.K. Dobbins may get the up close work if it's not going to be Estime. But as far as like inside 5 zone rushes, Estime had just as many as McLaughlin last year. So I think that just really speaks to their outlook on him. But is RJ Harvey, you afraid? You're still going for it?
I think I'm still okay with RJ Harvey. It's 2nd-round draft capital. I mean, they spoke glowingly of him and Pat Bryant. So I knew, I had an inkling that it wasn't going to be, maybe Dobbins or like Nick Chubb might have gone there. I just don't think RJ Harvey was ever going to be this like 300 touches type of guy. He's not built that way, I feel like. So J.K. Dobbins, though, if you've been drafting him best ball, kudos to you. He's going to be starting to skyrocket here now immensely. Like in redraft, I'd probably say like, 11th, 12th round is where J.K. would probably start to fall. And I'd be okay with that. Like, we've seen Peyton use 2 running backs and then being successful. So, like, I still think you're getting if you punted on RB, I think J.K. Dobbins is perfect for someone to target.
Yeah, I think that situation, it's only going to get better there in Denver. The offense was awesome last year. It's gonna continue to improve. Speaking of Nick Chubb, now we get to talk about him. Signed a deal up to $5 million with the Texans. There we've got rookie Woody Marks that was drafted. Joe Mixon still on the team, and now Nick Chubb is going to roll into it. So Woody Marks is the pass-catching guy. Yes. You got Chubb as the thumper, and then Mixon kind of does a little bit of everything here. So thoughts?
Bye, Dameon Pierce. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, crazy rookie year that he had, and now it's just irrelevant. Just goes to show that's how quickly this league adapts and moves on from you. I would say I still like Joe Mixon where he's going. I don't think this, like, I think Nick Chubb, I think you and I both can agree, like, Nick Chubb is one of the purest, best runners of the football. So, like, Obviously, Joe Mixon, has been banged up, so maybe this is just like a depth piece signing. It's a great football signing, and it just kind of makes you go like, ugh, for fantasy. It's like, what are we doing? But I still like Joe Mixon. I'm not going to be, if I'm around that tier area, I'm still not going to be, brushed away from not taking Joe Mixon because of the signing.
I really haven't touched Joe Mixon at all this year. I haven't really looked his way, and I think this kind of adds to me just like, I'm going to have a less than 8% exposure rate to him. I'm going to be below average on Joe Mixon. That's just where it's going to sit. As far as in-zone carries last year, Joe Mixon was second in the league behind Derrick Henry. If he loses a chunk of that to Nick Chubb, which ideally at this point of Nick Chubb's career, as far as just the age, the injuries, all that, this is where he would shine, running the ball in. So if he takes that away from Mixon, I saw some age on Mixon last year. I wasn't a huge fan of what I saw in the back half of the season, so it just makes me wonder, what am I really drafting here? Where is that ceiling as far as the full length of the season?
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
What else do we have?
Maybe the one last thing. It's just James Cook finally showed up to mandatory camp.
Woo!
He finally showed up. So everyone's sweating. James Cook really has no leverage, unfortunately. He's on his rookie deal. I know he wants another contract, but the Bills just spent a ton of money this offseason. I think they basically signed the guys they wanted to keep. So it kind of sucks for Cook. He sees all these guys getting signings, just like, where's my bread? And it's not there, unfortunately.
It's not there. No,
yeah.
It got all soggy. Down the drain.
Water down.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, I guess it's mock draft time. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's get to it, folks. Bloop. Oh, look at that. Fancy mock draft stuff. Yes, like I said, we're doing a single quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. We're going to go about 10-ish rounds, 10, 11 rounds here. Like I said, ADP isn't all the way there, so as we get deeper and deeper into this, it's going to get funky, but we're going to try and keep it as close as we can here. And I guess you ready to rock and roll it?
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's start that draft. Whoop, there it is. So Brennen is drafting from the 4 spot, me in the 10 spot. This is a 12-team league. And right off the bat, Chase, Lamb, Jefferson. Put you in a prime spot to take a running back, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. The top 3 wide receivers that we all have, I think I have CD in the same tier as Justin and Jamar. I can definitely see CD finishing as a wide receiver 1 on that team. So for me, it's definitely between the running backs. And who do I have as my first running back? I actually have Bijan ahead of Saquon. Again, it's by inches of points. I just don't know if Saquon's going to get 2,000 yards again. I think Bijan will have this in my head, you can call it a tinfoil hat conspiracy, but I think he'll have this amazing year. So I'm all in on Bijan. So Bijan's my guy here.
I actually wouldn't even hate Gibbs. So we got Bijan, Barkley, and Gibbs going back to back to back. I'm okay if you take Gibbs over Barkley. All 3 of those guys are essentially in that tier 1 for me. It's just the way I'm looking at Detroit. I feel like he might be just riddled with passes this year. Gibbs will be just a different dynamic of this team if they're having to play from behind a little bit more. They're in a little bit more of these shootout type games. But after that, we got Amon-Ra, we have Neighbors, we've got Puka. Dare me to click him. Dare me to click him because, really, I was hoping Puka was going to fall to me here. Nico Collins, BTJ are right here, but I'm going to have... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Genty. Let's go ahead and get this knocked out here. ADP, a little bit of a reach if you look on Sleeper's ADP, but folks, this is where we're going to be drafting them come August. So let me go ahead and nail that running back, get somebody in there that I really like. And, of course, in happy fashion, I lost out on Nico and Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, of course. I know Ashton Genty's at 17, but I'll tell you, folks, when it comes to your home leagues, your money leagues, those guys, Ashton Genty's going to be picked in the top 12. I'd be very surprised if he falls the second round in your leagues.
Yeah, the hype will be there.
Yes.
I'm kind of looking at, because we've been drafting Genty and Bowers nonstop back-to-back in best ball, so I refuse to do it here.
Come on.
I'm looking at wide
strategy.
receiver. I love me some Drake London. I know I'm going to have plenty of exposure to him, but I want to give some love to a guy that I feel like is being faded a bit, and I'm going to grab A.J. Brown. Like you said, Saquon, only one other guy has got the workload that Saquon received and was able to replicate it the next year. And that's that superhuman called Derrick Henry living in Baltimore right now. So just the chances of him doing, just last year, folks, we were talking about Saquon Barkley and how fragile he is and his injury concerns, this, that, and the other. He plays 1 year with the Eagles, and all of a sudden we've just forgotten that. So I'm not leaning into the fact that he's injury prone, but it's part of his history in the league. So give me some AJ Brown. I think this team's gonna be throwing the ball a lot more this year.
No, that's a great pick. Unfortunately, after you take AJ Brown, McBride, Derrick Henry, London, Bowers, and McConkey go, I was really hoping to get like London or one of the tight ends or Henry. Just like this area for me, I don't know about you, Brian, but it's gross. Like this is where like it's a cutoff of a teardrop of like significant players.
And I feel like this area right now where you're talking mid to late second round was at the 1-2 turn last year. Like, it was a lot of talented players, but it was a lot of question marks and a lot of reasons that I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it.
Yeah, like the top of the list, it's Bucky, which I like Bucky, but I think it's a little too early for me.
Same.
Josh Allen, I mean, he's been QB1 for the past like 5 years in a row, so I know what I'm getting out of him, but I just feel like I don't really want to do that unless it's a 4-point passing touchdown league. Then I'm snagging him, not even thinking twice about it, but it's 6 point. So then it's after that, it's like JSN, Tyreek, T, Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Kyron. So it's just like this really odd area. And so like I'm going to have to go and like look at my rankings and say, what is my rankings telling? Because at this point, that's where when you get stuck, where you should make your own rankings. And I have Josh Jacobs ahead of everybody here. So I'm going to take Josh Jacobs and just go with see what happens after that.
Double RB, that's what I'm talking about. In a year in 2024 where running backs reign supreme, we're going to see ADP of running backs jumping this year. And I agree with the Bucky Irving. I feel like you're drafting him about at his ceiling. I don't ever see him finishing as a top 5 guy.
Yeah.
Like that 5 to 10 is a beautiful spot, but that's where you're drafting him. So like I want to have a little bit of wiggle room as far as like growth in my picks.
Yeah, so after that, Josh Allen goes, JSN, who I feel I would be comfortable here taking JSN, not where that went. And then Tyreek, Jaden Daniels, T. Higgins, and Bucky. So luckily Bucky's gone. I'm staring at Lamar, Jonathan Taylor. I already have 2 running backs. So I'm really looking at wide receivers and tight ends and maybe a quarterback. But I just, again, it's Lamar Jackson. I know what I'm getting at him, but one of them is going to have regression. And I just don't know who. It's a little weird for me. I think out of the wide receivers, I think Garrett Wilson's going to be this like what it was last year, just like amazing games then terrible games. Like it's going to be like what it was with DJ Moore and Justin Fields, and I just got to live with it. Unfortunately, the highs are going to be high and the lows are going to be low, but I think Garrett Wilson's just an immense talent. I can't pass on.
And the volume, it's ridiculous the volume that he is going to see. In this draft right now, folks, RB is king. We just had a nice little run after Garrett Wilson, Lamar Jackson, JT, Chase Brown, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, and I'm going to grab another wide receiver here. I know running backs are shooting off the board, but I really like Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's in a great spot this year. I think Devontae Adams is as well, but well, folks, you know where we're going here.
You are the worst.
It's this podcast. Too much Rashee Rice. Yes, that is the podcast official title because this guy is going to be all over our leagues.
I almost thought about taking Rashee Rice, but everyone looked at me like I'm nuts, so I can't even do it. So
I really thought you missed it. I was like, oh my God,
I didn't scroll. I didn't miss it. I'd be that's just such a everyone would be like, why? That's so early, but like I honestly, in my money leagues, Rashee Rice might go there.
I'll take him to the 2-3 turn. Like as far as my rankings, I have him just above JSN and T. Higgins and Garrett Wilson. Same tier.
But I have Garrett Wilson 1 spot ahead of him, but I was just like,
Garrett Wilson's killing my projections. I have spent so much time on the Jets projection. I've got like 7 teams that I haven't finished, and it's because either the quarterback's giving me issues or it's the skill players that are just a hot mess. But yeah, I'm going to take Rashee Rice. Unfortunately, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to fall to me. McLaurin, Hurts, Kittle go at the turns. So you're kind of the last of the onesie positions. Like tight end, I'm done. Drafting the last 2 picks, folks. We're locked in. Quarterback will probably be going somewhere around 8, 9, 10 because those top guys are gone. So let me go wide receiver here again. I mentioned him a second ago. Devontae Adams. Absolutely love the situation for for the Rams for him being there. Love watching the camp videos of him like helping Puka with his like route running and his footwork and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, how nasty could Puka be in just a couple years after working with Devontae?
Yeah, I know. It's nasty. So after that, you had Mike Evans, James Cook, Joe Burrow, DJ Moore, and Kenneth Walker. I am looking at right here, like Kamara, Joe Mixon, Hampton, Chuba. So it's all these running backs, and then it's the wide receivers where it gets interesting. And I'm just like, all right, so it's Sutton, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Zay Flowers, Olave, who I do like. But I'm going to take my third running back here because I think the volume is going to be nuts down the stretch. It's going to be Omarion Hampton.
Interesting.
I think Omarion Hampton is going to be one of those guys. I know I have 3 running backs, but it's 2 flex, so I will probably fill both flex spots with running backs just because running backs are king in fantasy, especially in redraft. So
I think I'm going to be underweight on Omarion Hampton.
Okay.
And call me crazy, but Najee Harris is getting some love out there in LA right now. I did look too. Did you know he was tied for 7th in broken tackles last year?
Yeah, he's a big dude. So was Omarion Hampton.
He can still play, but I see no reason why they wouldn't split the workload with him. With Omarion Hampton being a rookie, let's not blow him out the water the first year. We got Najee who we can mix in. I guess it just feels like it's one that's going to hurt to be drafted. I don't know when Hampton's consistent startability is going to hit. Is it week 4, 6, 8, wherever that may be? So starting off, I may not have a whole lot of them.
Yeah, I'm right. I could see that, but I think after like week 7 or 8, his volume is just going to be it's not going to be 50-50. It's going to be like 70-30.
I'm banking on that small window when I can go buy him. Hey, you're 1 and 3. Why don't I buy Omarion Hampton from you, and I'll give you one of these other guys that like it's going to be falling off. The James Cooks.
Hampton's going to be a slow burn, but I could see him being a league winner down the stretch, kind of a thing. So that's where I sit with him. So
looks like you just missed out on Devonta Smith too.
I know. So after I take Hampton, it goes Joe Mixon, T.J. Hawkinson, Kamara, Sutton, Hubbard, Chuba, and Devonta Smith. So I was thinking about it was between Sutton, Smith, and DK. I'm not liking Zay Flowers. I can't convince myself. I don't know why. It's so weird. But if this was a week ago and Aaron Rodgers had not been signed to Pittsburgh, I don't know if I'd be taking DK here. But like I said, DK is my wide receiver too. Aaron Rodgers is there. I feel a lot better. So DK is now my wide receiver too for this team.
Oh, and James Conner just went. I was really hoping he was going to fall to me. I'm rocking 3 wide receivers, and there's a couple on the board I really like. But running back, it is getting scarce. Oh, man. So this is a half PPR draft, and it really plays into my next pick here. I'm looking at 2 running backs. I like Isaiah Pacheco at the price this year. They didn't really do a whole lot to replace them. Brought in Brashard Smith in the 7th round. They did trade for Isaiah Mitchell. But Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that name I just said.
I don't know either. I was like, who is that guy?
But yeah, they traded for him. This is a Super Bowl contending team. They're going to add a bunch of depth to make sure that they're there. But if Pacheco's healthy, this is the last year of his deal. He's going to be out there. He's going to be crushing it. So I don't mind that there. And then you go to the other side. And then you got the Vikings. The Vikings where Sam Darnold was the number 2 quarterback in time to throw. And he is not a scrambling guy. All the other guys on that top 10 list can scramble. So that's why that time to throw is so high. So he was back there with plenty of time. The offensive line solid. They added 2 more pieces. This team is going to look to throw the ball a lot, to run the ball a lot. And Aaron Jones is going to be a part of that. And this might be the year that it bites me. Like, the guy can only be great for so long, but he's been one of my favorites since he's been in the league. 30 years old. I'm going to roll the dice. Give me Aaron Jones here.
All right. Don't hate it.
Oh, damn. And I can come right back with Isaiah Pacheco.
You just talked yourself into it, man. Come on. You can have Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco. 2 guys that got injured last year. You're getting them at a discount now.
This is true. I'm looking at a wide receiver here. I really like that fell, but I'm going to go ahead and take R.J. Harvey. No fear. No fear from the the J.K. Dobbins signing. And again, let me hit up another pass-catching running back.
All right, fair enough. I don't hate it. I mean, so after you take Harvey, Tetra McMillan went, George Pickens.
That was the next one I was looking at.
Yeah, Jameson Williams and Roma Dunze. So the top option for me is Baker Mayfield. You and I both had discussions. It's so crazy that we're saying Baker Mayfield is like QB 7, 8 in consensus rankings, and it's just like you feel dirty taking him. You just do.
Especially when you got him at QB 21 last year.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
You're just like I'm paying a price where I know he has to like finish at the super high level, and I just don't know if he'll do that. I genuinely don't know. So there's a couple tight ends here. I mean, like if Jonnu Smith, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, nothing changes in Miami. Jonnu Smith is still there in Miami. It really hurts just Waddle and Tyreek Hill because I don't know if anything will change. Because like, I mean, dude, he was a receptions king down that stretch. He's a league winner, really. And it's like, am I going to really talk myself into taking Jonnu Smith here? Like, I feel gross doing it.
You should. You should. Grab a bar of soap. You're going to need it afterwards.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to be sitting there crying in the shower afterwards. No, I'm gonna reach here. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift. I think in a lot of your home leagues, a lot of like if you have like some guys that are sharks, I think they'll take him a lot quicker than you realize. And he's with Ben Johnson. He played with him in Detroit. They didn't get another running back. He's only spoken glowingly things of him. I'm all in. He's my second flex spot. So
yeah,
I have 4 RBs.
It feels like this time of year, all the degens right now that are mocking and best balling, we're afraid to click on it. But yeah, I believe that once we get to the casual season, once we get to August and everybody's back, they're going to be like, oh, Ben Johnson, new offensive line, and they're going to be clicking DeAndre Swift a lot faster than we are. We're not going to get a chance to contemplate taking him.
Yeah. So after that, it goes Jonnu, Isaiah Pacheco, Jerry Jeudy, Travis Kelce, Baker Mayfield, and Tony Pollard. So I don't have to worry about the tight ends anymore. There's Mark Andrews there. A lot of the rookies here. So it's like Travis Hunter, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson, and then it's Najee, Ridley. There's Ayuk. I'm in this weird spot where it's like I need to like kind of solidify my roster here. I don't have a tight end yet. I don't have a quarterback yet. I know that certain guys that I like at quarterback position won't be there. I feel really weird taking him, but man, like I think Sean Payton picked him for a reason because he can see that he can just work with his offense, and he did it really, really well. And the scrambling. It's at the end of the day, if I can have a quarterback that can move and be mobile, it's going to be a league winner. I'm going to take Bo Nix here, and I feel weird, but I'm not going to get him on the turn back. So
it almost feels weird to take Baker Mayfield above Bo Nix. Like it doesn't sound crazy. Like Bo Nix belongs. Not that I'm not saying that Baker doesn't belong, but just we hit it after like it's the rushing upside with the quarterback. So a guy Baker only had 3 touchdowns, like 300 some yards. It's not bad, but it's not great. Bo Nix was crushing it with that. So yeah, it feels weird to see that that's how it falls.
Yeah,
a string of Brennen Ayuk's going there. That guy's going to be falling. He'll be gone. Shakir, you got Judkins. Which I don't. Judkins or Hendrickson, Trey Hendrickson. Who do you have higher?
It depends on the format. Half point, it's Judkins. Full point, it's Henderson.
I've got Henderson higher in both. I think. Like I like the talent of Judkins, but they want to run the ball with him, and I just don't know how many touchdown opportunities he's going to get, and how many times are they going to by halftime be down 10 plus points and going to have to throw the ball more. So it's opportunity that scares the hell out of that for me.
But also I can see the same thing for the Patriots because like I think Ramondre's still there at the end of the day, under contract, big contract he just signed. I know he took Travion in the second round, but like Judkins is not the receiving portfolio. Obviously, that's what Henderson is, but also you're the goal line. Is it really going to be Henderson or is it going to be Ramondre Stevenson in the goal line? That's another thing too. It's like I just think the opportunities are vastly different for both sides.
I did see an interesting stat. Josh McDaniels, his running backs over his tenure with the Patriots, where his RB1 averages about an RB22 finish, but his RB2s typically finish around RB30. So it's one of those ADP wise that RB2 is, as far as the value there is ADP and finish, usually leans into that RB2. So it's going to be, I don't want, like, because right now Stevenson's going ahead of or behind Henderson right now. So that's the hard part. He is the RB1, but he's being drafted as the RB2. So we need the casuals to come back and really mess with that ADP a little bit.
Yes, I know. Too many sharks.
Oh, too many. He is sitting on the board. He's in consideration for me. He's sitting around guys like Brian Robinson and gross. But there's a couple of wide receivers I see here, and I think I'm going to hit that button. And right now I'm looking at two. I've got a floor play and a ceiling play. In fantasy football, I got to go for the ceiling play. I've got to hope that Cam Ward is going to be good. Hope that he returns on that 101. So give me Calvin Ridley, the guy that should you see in an immense target share. But our guy Jacoby Myers was sitting right there, and he came back to me. Oh, he came back to me. I can't take him though. My team is getting too lopsided. I have Genty. I got Genty, Jones, and Harvey. That's not bad for running back.
That's not, no, I don't think so at all.
Oh man. But I'm going to pivot again, and I'm going to double tap the. I'm going to let him fall. I'm going to leave Ingram alone. I'm going to take David Njoku, guy who is 6th in points per game for the tight end position. Absolutely great. I think that he should be able to fall into that role where he is at least number 2 in target share on this team.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, I think I have Ingram ahead of Njoku just because I think the Browns are just going to be bad, unfortunately, again. And I just, it's tough to, obviously Njoku's been good with, Joe Flacco, but like, how long is Joe Flacco going to be a starting quarterback? We just, again, the Browns are so wishy-washy. Like week 10, they could be starting Shedeur Sanders, even though Dylan Gabriel was drafted ahead of them. Like, it's just this weird anomaly with what the Browns want to do as a franchise. And I just would try to stay away from that as much as possible. So right after you took Njoku, it goes Goff, Murray, Myers, Herbert, and Debo, which obviously I don't know if you've seen the video lately of Debo at camp.
Chubby boy. Got his hand caught in the cookie jar. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Hey, it's summertime's coming up. You're gonna sweat in the sun. It's gonna be okay. we can all lose a few lbs. So.
Oh yeah, it's humid on the East Coast. He's gonna have to deal with that now.
Yeah. So right now I'm looking. So another thing too, folks, like when you're drafting, as you can see, obviously it's computers, so I got to be a little bit mindful of that. But real people know your league. Obviously Hawkinson's gone, Smith's gone, and Travis Kelce's gone. Theoretically, in most leagues, I can wait for the turn to come back for tight end. I'd love to do that. Because I like Evan Ingram here. Bo Nix, Evan Ingram stack is nice, but I also there's another guy I like here too for wide receiver. But I just think the computer's going to take Evan Ingram. It's going to annoy me. So I'll take Evan Ingram here, and then we'll work from there.
And we got Travis Etienne, Brian Robinson, Caleb Johnson, the rookie. Cup, Reed, and Pierce. It was Pearsall, wasn't it?
No, well, it was Reed and Pearsall. Yeah, so I was really trying to get both. So
now you get Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Or Pink Powder.
Yeah. No.
Stephon Diggs is still chilling.
Obviously, Anthony Richardson is shut down here, so I think you and I both can agree that we're projecting Daniel Jones to be the Week 1 starter right now. Are you on that same page?
Yeah. I'm full. Let's go, Daniel. Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I'm in between Downs and Matthew Golden. Obviously, took him at as wide receiver or the first round, pick 22. But I'm going to take Downs here. I think he's going to benefit the most with Daniel Jones, and I think he's the best receiver on the team.
Well, I guess that's a good thing that happened. I was going to take Javonte Williams so you could make fun of me. I'm not out on Javonte Williams yet. I am not out.
I'm out. I don't know what's going to be the Cowboy situation.
Look at this. You're getting him in the 9th round. It's ridiculous.
Yes, but he's also bad.
Could be bad. He got hurt 2 years ago, and he messed up 17 ligaments in his knee. So let's give him maybe 2 years to recover from it.
As someone who's torn a ligament on his knee and his patella tendon, I can tell you coming back is rough.
Yeah.
I'm also fat,
He never came back, folks. That 1,000-yard season, he came just shy. Not going to make it.
Shut down.
Oh man, yeah. This is a pickle here because running back got gross. I love me some Tajay Spears, but not really here in the 10th round. Dowdle is on the board. We got White, Bigsby, Scatabo would probably be the next running back I'd look at, and maybe Austin Eckler. But I think I can get him a little later. So let me grab a wide receiver. Wait, oh man, no, I can't. We've only got 2 rounds left. So let me go ahead and grab my quarterback here then. We got Jordan Love on the board, Brock Purdy. I do like both of those. Caleb Williams, I think, is a great shot. But I'm going to take a guy that just is getting disrespected left and right. Give me Dak freaking Prescott. Give me the guy that just slings the ball. He got another weapon. Finally got another one. I can't say finally. He had Amari Cooper and Lamb at one point. I think it was 2 seasons he got both those. But Lamb finally has somebody else to help draw a little bit of pull away from him. So with George Pickens added to the mix, a nasty deep ball throw. Like, this guy is going to have 4 or 5 catches that scored Dak some big points that he probably shouldn't have. But because George Pickens up at high pointing the ball, just that's his thing. So really excited. Love me some Dak. I've got my quarterback, got my tight end. So now we're just going to add one more depth piece. And you know what? The sun's not shining here because the moon's up. Let's go Darnell Mooney. I love the upside for this kid.
Damn it. That's who I literally had it hovered over. I was like, oh, it's going to steal here, Darnell.
Nice. Sniped him, folks. We got him. We got him.
Super annoying. Yeah, I have enough running backs here. So after you take Darnell Mooney, you snipe me. Matthew Golden, who was another guy I was looking at. I don't have to worry about Kidlip, Jake Ferguson, Rashad White, CJ Stroud. I need another wide receiver because obviously we're only doing 10 rounds here. But I at this point, I would be taking wide receivers here. I'm staring at Jalen McMillan. I'm staring at Juwan Jennings, Emeka Ibuka, Luther Burden. He's injured right now. Higgins, we just don't know. This one's a true wild card. Obviously, he came into camp. He's looking a little bit heavier, but in a good way. You want him to be a little more thicker in that sense. I'm going to take Keon Coleman. Usually guys, their second year is their breakout season for wide receivers. It's the make or break year for them. So I'm going to lean on that gambling side of like, this is the year that they start to figure it out with him.
I think I would have taken Juwan Jennings there.
Yeah.
Just with Ayuk being out at least the first few weeks, I feel like at this point in the draft, Jennings is going to at least give you startable points. But at this point in the draft, you may not need to start him. So maybe he just turns into trade bait after a few weeks because he starts to do something.
You know what's funny with that, though? Like, I was watching a video, like, guys who are terrible at yards per separation. DK Metcalf is one of them. He's like in the top 10, and so is Juwan Jennings. So I was not trying to have 2 guys that are terrible at separating.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull up these teams here, check out what we ended up finishing with. Of course, yeah, my team, I've got Dak Prescott here at quarterback, Ashton Jeanty and Aaron Jones at running back. Starts off sexy, and then it's like, you got the new hotness and the old and busted. Oh, love me Men in Black 2, man. What a great one. A.J. Brown is going to be my wide receiver 1. Rashee Rice at my wide receiver 2. David Njoku, we're playing on that volume game at tight end. And then at my flex play, I got Devontae Adams, R.J. Harvey, and then Calvin Ridley, who easy plug-in. If R.J. Harvey isn't quite getting the volume week 1 or week 2, Ridley would be an easy start for me. And then Darnell Mooney, we're just shooting for some upside. Hopefully Penix had some Anthony Richardson-style completion games those last couple of weeks. They were exciting. We got points, but completion percentage was garbage. So hopefully he plays out well for me.
No, I don't hate it. It's a good little balanced team here and there. You're not like super strong in one area compared to another. So no, it's a good start for that. My team, it's Bo Nix, it's Bijan, it's Josh Jacobs for the 2 running backs, then Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf, that is going to be the definition of boom or bust for wide receivers.
You got Aaron Rodgers stank all over those wide receivers.
Yeah, no, I was going to make that comment. Tight ends, Evan Ingram. So I do have a stack. Obviously, it's kind of like my best ball mentality, but like I don't hate it for redraft. I don't know how you feel about stacks. Like,
I don't force it, but I welcome it.
Yeah, so I don't hate it. Then my flex plays, it's Omarion Hampton and DeAndre Swift, who's it's again like this team is very much it's boom or bust. Like this team could crap the bed and I could be wearing a clown suit next year for my next league's draft, or I could be the champion, and that's how I play. So,
what about those last 2 down there?
Yeah, then it's Josh Downs and Keon Coleman again. I think Josh Downs. You and I both agree Josh Downs is the best wide receiver in the Colts team. So, and
for the longest time, like through the 2010s. Year 3 was the year that we were actually targeted wide receivers. That was truly when we had that breakout season, the huge leap. Lately, the talent has just been getting ridiculous, so it turns into more of like late rookie season, year 2. But I don't think that doesn't deter me from wide receivers like Josh Downs that show us talent, back to back to back, and then year 3, I still like him he could have a great season if Daniel Jones is the starter.
Yeah, no, if Daniel Jones is starting, like I feel a semi-bit comfortable. It's not saying much, obviously, but I still feel a little bit better of taking Josh Downs compared to if Anthony Richardson is starting.
Anything like jumping off the board at you? Anything that really went wrong?
I mean, I would have loved to not take an Evan Ingram there because, like, again, it's computers. So, like, I just didn't want to gamble that. Like, I'd have felt a lot better with like Jaden Reed or Ricky Pearsall as my wide receiver 3 on the bench. Like, I'd have felt like tremendously better with Evan Ingram falling that pick. So, like, with real people, if there were real people here, I would have done that. But obviously, it's a computer, and it would make me more upset if I didn't get the Evan Ingram. Because I think there's a drop in from tight ends after Evan Ingram.
Same thing with me. We're only doing 10 rounds. We want to fill out the roster. So I probably wouldn't have taken David Njoku there in round 8. Would have grabbed my another running back there just because it dried up real quick. A Caleb Johnson, guy I can kind of wait on. A Travis Etienne, a lottery picket, or a Javonte Williams, another lottery ticket. So overall, I'm happy with it. I'm getting pumped, man. I am getting so excited that the season's right around the corner. Trying to like math out how many leagues I'm going to be in, or like how many times can I say yes when I have that random person that asks me to be in a league. Trying to figure out where's my too much, because 20 leagues it's too much, folks.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying no. My wife gets really upset when I don't say no, so I'm right there with you.
I think it's especially true with more and more unique style leagues. Like, I jumped in a vampire league last year, a Grand Theft Auto league, a guillotine league. Like, when you're changing up the rules, when you're not in 15 single quarterback redraft leagues, that's when it makes it fun, because it's a different style. You're looking at the different strategy. It's not just that same monotonous going through there every Tuesday night. Oh, let me go pick up Kyle Monangai here. Let me go pick up Kyle Monangai here. Let me go, it's completely different. So if you're looking to add more leagues, I challenge you to look for a caveat in the scoring system or something to that nature.
Yeah, guillotine leagues are a lot of fun. I actually did enjoy that when I did it my first time. I think I made it to like week 12, and then I lost. But no, it's a fun time.
2 years ago, I got cut week 2. Last year, I got cut week 3. So I'm looking forward to 4 weeks of guillotine this year. I picked up Cooper Kupp as my, it's usually 16 teams in these leagues, folks. So your rosters are fragile. But yeah, 2 years ago, I had Cooper Kupp as my first round pick. That cut, man, I don't even remember who did me in last year. But I'm excited to come back at it.
Yeah.
Folks, we're shutting it down. We got to get out of here. But before we do, Brennen, where can the people find you?
We had Too Much B-Milk on X, and then the Fantasy Football Advice Network.
And then it's all over here on the Too Much Fantasy Football YouTube channel, folks. Like, subscribe. We've got a lot of unique content coming over here. Of course, we have our show on the Fantasy Football Advice Network, so don't forget to check us out here. We've got the podcast where everything will be mainstreamed into the podcast, whether it be this channel or the other. But, folks, it's fun. We've got some guests coming in. We're doing some historical drafts, and it's going to be a little collaborative, so I'm sure we're going to be yelling at each other a bit. So until next time, we got to see ya.